everyone. This is Anne-Marie Kane with Navient. Hopefully you have all signed up to see can you benefit from RPA, because that's what I'm going to present about today. It'll be talking about our RPA offerings here at Navient and the company we've partnered with called Kryon. So if you have any questions, you can use the chat window and share that with me, and I'll hit them mostly at the end of the presentation. But there's nothing before we get started, we'll get off to the races here. So just a few housekeeping items during the webinar. Everybody is muted, so just use the chat for comments and questions. And there's usually a survey at the end of the webinar, so when that pops up, please feel free to fill it out. And as always, you can check out previous videos and webinars that we've recorded here at Navient at Navient Resources video. The link is there in the presentation. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, my email and contact info will be in the last slide of this presentation. And we are off. So here we go. For those of you who are new to Navient, and there are quite a few out there, Navient we started as a document management company back in 1986, and we evolved as the document management, content management industry evolved. We moved into business process management, and we've really focused on a process first philosophy over the years. As you can see from the graphic here, we have a couple of different areas of specialization, mostly in the enterprise content solutions services area. Our corporate headquarters is in Madison, Wisconsin, and we have satellite offices in Cleveland, Ohio, and Utah, Provo, I believe. They just got added 2 months ago, so still a little soft on that one. We're a long-time award-winning reseller of OnBase and Brainware, and we have more than 200 customers throughout the US and around the world. As you can see, the list of awards on the slide here, OnBase and Highland think very highly of us, and I hope you do too. If you have any questions, again, let us know. But we've recently added Robotic Process Automation to our portfolio of solutions, and our partner for that is Kryon Systems. I will talk about them a bit after I give us an introduction to what RPA is. So, agenda for today is pretty straightforward. I think we covered it in the invite. We're going to talk about what is RPA, why use RPA, and then who is Kryon and why use Kryon. Basically, why did we partner with them? Pretty straightforward. We've got plenty of time to cover that material today. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat window, and I am happy to answer them. So, what is RPA? I've had this conversation with a lot of people over the last 6 months, and it doesn't seem to get old yet. RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. It's software or a bot that does a job. And it's essentially software that runs on a physical machine or a virtual machine that can allow someone to define a set of instructions for the bot to perform. Previous iterations of computer-based automation of solutions include scripting and macros. So several of your organization's IT folks or you may also be familiar with those. RPA and the various platforms that are used to deploy it generally just provide a more standardized platform to create, deploy, and manage the tools for this type of automation. So you're not relying on a coder doing something in a particular way and either noting or not noting when they go through their code. Usually these solutions are more click and drag and drop for configuration and come in user-friendly user interfaces. Generally, RPA bots come in 3 different types: attended, unattended, and hybrid. I have a lot more detail on these different varieties and how they're used, including some use cases in the next couple of slides. There are vendors that you may have heard of in the RPA space. Seriously, if you just pop RPA into Google, You'll get lots of answers. Several of them will mention folks like Blue Prism, UiPath, and Automation Anywhere. Those are considered the big three. Kryon Systems is a smaller organization, but they have some tools that are unique in the market, and I hope you'll be interested in hearing about them later in this presentation. So, bots. A lot of the marketing around robots involves like the phrasing of meet your new employees. So we'll meet our new employee. Our little bot guy is waving in the corner. He says, hi. Bots make up a new digital workforce. We've all been part of a in-person people workforce for all of our lives at this point. Bots are new additions. They're new coworkers and new employees. Some folks consider them ideal employees because they work quietly in the background on the tedious tasks that are repetitive and high volume. They don't take sick days or vacations. They can work in the background 24/7, 365. They can help people that they've relieved of those repetitive, boring jobs. They can also help those same people be better informed and able to do the people job more efficiently. And in a world that gets more complex and detailed, they can also help your organization meet demands of government and industry requirements for compliance and legal parameters. So these guys are multitaskers. There are lots and lots of things that they can do in lots and lots of different ways. Unattended automation. Unattended automation, its primarily objective is to increase productivity and reliability of a process. So if you have a user, a person, doing the same copying, pasting task over and over again, or keying task over and over again, you can often end up with some errors in that process because humans are human. We are distractible and we get bored and we're not on our game 100%. But by automating high volume, repetitive, time-consuming business processes like reconciling and approving payment statements or flagging exceptions, it allows folks to focus on items and processes that are more people focused, more face-to-face. Really nice thing about some bots is they can work on a single process 24/7 if you've got the volume, and Kryon allows their bots to be shared among process on a scheduled basis as needed. So you could conceivably have one bot doing 2 or 3 tasks over a day, depending on the timing and the volume. In general, unattended bots really do lead to higher productivity, lower operational costs, greater flexibility for the organization, and probably the most important thing, it takes the human error out of the work process. So that is where organizations have seen a significant improvement in their ROI based on unattended automation. Now for attended automation. Attended automation can empower your employees to complete tasks with greater efficiency and accuracy. Think of them as a personal assistant on employees' desktops that are coded to look for particular work processes. I know, for example, our accounting assistant is very excited to get her personal assistant on her desktop because we're doing an internal project here at Navient deploying the software, and we started in our finance area. It also can automate manual activities like form completion or data transfer, and it responds very well to user input, providing on-screen guidance. It can reduce training time and increase productivity through this process. And it can also use sensors to prevent employees from violating specific rules. If they're not supposed to put a particular item in a particular field, you can say, hey, don't do that through the bot. And we've had organizations report up to a 70% increase in employee efficiency with the use and deployment of attended automation. Hybrid automation. It's exactly what it sounds like. It is a hybrid of attended and unattended bots working together, using them to handle tasks in the most efficient manner possible. So you'll have a cadre of attended bots working on people's computers, and a cadre of unattended robots working on a server somewhere. Attended robots will get direction from an employee and then hand off a task, possibly to an unattended robot. It'll chew on that for a while and then bring back the completed task for the attention of an employee or the attended bot. This section gives lots of flexibility to a work process. So, digital workforce. Digital workforce combines not just RPA, it's not just robotic process automation. It combines a bunch of different technologies, some of which you may have heard about, and some which may be new terms. You'll hear often about AI and ML, OCR, NLP. These are all technologies that are incorporated into RPA solutions for information ingestion and data analysis. So you will take in information from possibly a scanned document through optical character recognition. A user can look for a piece of information by entering a question that uses natural language processing. You can also teach the machine to be smarter, improve its artificial intelligence using machine learning. So they're all parts of a puzzle that fit together to roll up into RPA. Often RPA is deployed as a center of excellence or a COE. That's a cross-departmental group that oversees implementation of maintenance of bots. It generally takes folks from IT, from business operations, and other areas of the company in order to best oversee the deployment. Process mining and process discovery are often used as interchangeable terms. Generally, it's a set of tools and techniques that are used to define and map and analyze the processes of an organization or how you do work. Generally, process mining can focus on a certain area of the analysis and pulling the data out. Process discovery is something I find is unique to Kryon, and we'll talk about in a little bit more time. And then last but not least, we've got hyperautomation. It's one of the newest terms that you've seen if you've been following this type of news. In general, it's a combination of traditional RPA, which is automating the process, and process mining or process discovery. In fact, using robots to do process discovery in order to speed up the cycle from discovery to build to test to live and repeat. We'll go through that circle a bit more later in the presentation. So why use bots? I've covered a number of these already, but there are a lot of advantages to organizations using robots to do work. It can reduce your costs and increase your revenue. It improves customer and employee satisfaction and reduces errors and the cost that comes with them and correcting them. And one of the really interesting pieces that I find for this technology is it can automate processes without traditionally coded integrations. So if you are using systems that are public facing or green screen, ancient technology that cannot be interfaced through with normal integration techniques, RPA is definitely an area that you should explore because it's got a lot more flexibility. So that answers what's RPA and how is it cool. So why is Navient doing RPA? Well, it's because Navient's cool. Also, Navient, we're a trusted advisor to hundreds of customers. We've been in this technology information management business for over 35 years, and we enjoy providing our customers with the best information about how to do their work in the most efficient way possible, and look forward to sharing this new technology with you. Forrester predicts that RPA is going to be a $1.5 billion business by the end of the year. Gartner predicts that 73% of corporate controllers are going to implement some form of RPA in their finance departments by the end of 2020, as up from 19% in 2018. And 50% of RPA early adopters have reported a positive ROI within the first 18 months. So not only is it good business, it's going to be big business. Anybody that's not looking at RPA is not looking at the coolest, newest technology and not looking at the neatest techniques for possibly automating and improving their business. So I have way more statistics if you need them going forward. But to answer our essential question to start, and I'm not doing too bad by answering the question this many minutes into the presentation, but can you benefit from RPA? If you have a process that hits these 4 items, if it's rule-based, it repeats at regular intervals or has a predefined trigger, it has defined inputs and outputs, and here's the kicker, sufficient volume. It's one a lot of folks struggle with because there are definitely processes that you have that meet the first 3, no question. But is it valuable to use automation, or is it more cost conscious to continue doing what you're doing? If it meets all 4 of these parameters, then yes, an organization should be using RPA. If you don't even have a process defined, we got to start there first. But luckily, we've got some tools that can help with that. So RPA is a process by which software bots use a combination of automation, computer vision, and machine learning to automate repetitive, high-volume tasks that are trigger-driven and rule-based. So this is David Landerman quoted in an article from May of 2019. His company, Olive, builds artificial intelligence and RPA solutions geared toward healthcare organizations for reducing administrative costs and improving patient care. It's one of the folks you see cited and talked about quite a bit in this area. And he's exactly right. This is probably the most concise definition of RPA that I've seen. So if you take anything away from this presentation and want to present it to an executive or talk to somebody about it, grab this slide and go, or call me. I'm happy to do it for you. But next up, we're going to talk about use cases for the 3 types of RPA that we've talked about so far. First up is a case study that focuses on unattended automation. So the customer that we're working with here wanted to make customer service faster, more reliable, more convenient, and offload routine work to the knowledge workers, or from the knowledge workers, and let them focus more on direct customer contact activities. So voice-to-voice conversations, email, that sort of thing. So what they did is they automated 10 processes that they knew were relatively straightforward. They included mortgage requests and ATM related complaints, because we've all had something like that happen. You know, the ATM ate my card. They put together a workflow or a process that allows the complaint to get evaluated automatically, and if there is, you know, cause, it kicks out the response that's appropriate to the customer. If there is something it can't quite figure out, it kicks it to a knowledge worker. The results, very impressive. 35% faster handling of ATM complaints and over 100% increase in process volumes. They went from processing about 40 per day with a human knowledge worker doing this work to 80 to 100 requests a day. Some of this is related to the fact the bot can work 24/7, and some of it is related to the fact that it's repeating the same steps over and over and doesn't get distracted, doesn't have to take bathroom breaks, etc. So it's one real big benefit in a case study for unattended robots. The nice thing too is they had happier customers at the end of this also, because customers were getting answers to their questions and their requests that much faster. Case study for attended automation. The organization that we did a case study with here wanted to reduce training time and increase its revenue via upsells and cross-sells for its outbound call centers. So they started using attended robots. The attended robots are placed on every CSR's computer and are running while a CSR does their work, customer service representative. They identify the customer order as it's being placed by the CSR in their system. Based on the pieces of information the CSR enters into the system, it identifies a bundle that would fit the parameters that the customer is looking for, and prompts the CSR with a little pop-up. That pop-up gives them an exact word-for-word script to read to the customer that talks through the benefits and costs and et cetera of the bundle proposal. Not necessarily every customer took advantage, but they definitely had an increased rate of advantage. They increased their average deal size and revenue per user over the time period that they did the case study, and they reduced their error rates to nearly zero, which is impressive, especially with a human-based workforce. Providing your employees with the right information at the right time is critical to having good service delivery times and happy customers. And now for hybrid automation, case study there, again, another customer wanted to improve a customer experience at its call center. So the call center agents, they send tasks to the robot from their desktops. That's the attended portion. And then when the task is completed by the robot, it pops it back up to the agent, all completed in a single window. In general, they saw a 70% call time reduction, and customer waiting time was reduced by 200%. I know that if I can wait, if I can get something done in 3 minutes on a phone call versus 10 minutes on a phone call, I am a happy camper. Their customers and their employees were too, because they're better able to meet the parameters and quotas that their organization was requesting of them. So sounds like fun times all the way around. Now, talking about an organization that can help you do this. Oh, this is so cool and so interesting. I wanna do this now. Okay, awesome. Who do we want you to do it with? Well, we'd be happy if you did it with anybody, but really happy if you worked with us and Kryon. So Forrester Wave in Q4 of last year posted in their RPA paperwork that if you wanted to reduce your process discovery time, your errors, and the time with consultants, to look at Kryon. And that is absolutely what Navient has found through our evaluation of the various RPA partners we could have gone with. We have a history of choosing world-class partners, and we believe that Kryon is going to be an excellent addition to our portfolio. Now, who are they? You may not have ever heard of them before. So Kryon Systems is a robotic process automation company. They started in robots. Originally, it was in training robots, and they evolved over time to those bots into attended automation, hybrid automation, and actually came to unattended automation later in the game. Most of the other players started in unattended automation. Who are they? They were founded in 2008. They're based in Tel Aviv, Israel. They have US offices in Atlanta and New York. Their core is about process. They want to discover processes that you know about, give you more information on those, and discover processes that you don't even know are happening in your organization. And we've all been there, doing a process analysis, and user pops up and does XYZ, be like, hey, what are you doing here? Never seen it before, and it's a total surprise to you. What they allow you to do is automate and optimize those processes to improve the value to customers all over the world. Their process philosophy was an excellent fit with Navient's philosophy, which, if you don't know, is process first, excellence. So culture-wise, it was a good fit. They also work with a lot of large organizations all over the world that are really demanding, and we like to think that our customers are very demanding too. They have tools for all phases of the project. As you can see in the graphic, they make a nice little circle diagram, and if you look at each layer of the circle diagram, it gives you another layer of information about Kryon and its products. They do have tools, like I said, tools for all phases, starting with discovery and mapping. Process discovery can be reduced from months to days with their process discovery robots. Those I'll dig into a little bit more in a minute. Then you can also take the information you gather in process discovery, and it goes into their studio platform, which allows you to develop and optimize these workflows. So you don't have to take the raw input from a particular user. You can say, oh, it should be done this way, and this way, and this way. And now it's perfect. And once it's perfect, Now, once it's good enough, you can deploy it and start automating your processes with the various types of automation, attended, unattended, and hybrid. And then you've got all your bots out in the world doing their work. But like any employee, they probably shouldn't go completely unsupervised. And you have the console, Kryon's console, that will allow you to analyze how they're working, analyze their productivity, and they say orchestrate, direct these robots. If you need them doing a different task, you can repurpose them. If you need to take one offline and replace it with a different bot, you can do that all through the console. Again, it provides that full circle, the full cycle automation that is what you should be looking for in a platform. Other items that are focusing on the Kryon Difference, they have, like I said, the full cycle automation suite. It gives you the power to scale up RPA programs easily, get amazing results really fast. It's the only automation platform in the market that is designed to take you from discovery through automation to analysis all in one platform. It has a proven track record of customer success, not only in the actual bot deployment, but in the discovery and the analysis portions of the program too. It is the originator of the automated process discovery technology. There are other folks who have joined the party recently, but we are still the first and the best in that here at Kryon. It allows a single bot to be shared among processes based on the scheduling. So, and that is also, as far as I know, unique in the market. If you have 3 different processes that can be done at 3 different times of the day, you can have one little bot assigned to run process A at 8 a.m., run process B at 5 p.m., and run process C at 11 p.m. And it's one bot. They also hold 5 patented AI technologies covering image recognition, OCR, and several items under machine learning. So one of the taglines that we've talked about with them is other organizations will solve problems if you know where to look. The nice thing about Kryon is it can solve both. It helps you shape your entire path through continuous automation. So it's not a one and done, it's not a deploy and run away. It's a let's keep improving, let's keep automating, let's keep making our organization the best it can be. And we really like that philosophy in a partner. So getting into a little bit more practical detail on process discovery, who's been in this room? I might have traumatized a few people on the call by just throwing this up there with no warning, but in my previous life as a project manager, I have lived this. Weeks, months in conference rooms with sticky notes and markers, making out process design diagrams, and it's incredibly valuable, incredibly useful, and can be incredibly painful. Imagine though, if you can gather all this information in a week without having to shadow employees or lock them into a conference room for days at a time. Kryon allows you to do that. Their process discovery bots, that is exactly what they are designed for. And for a very long time, we're the only tool of its kind on the market. They use patented AI technology to automatically identify work processes and visually map the main path and the variance of any given process. It also evaluates their suitability for automation and can generate workflow diagrams instantly. So if someone is clicking a button to do a particular step and another person is using a keyboard to do a particular step, it documents that. And as a part of your automation development, you can decide which one you prefer from a bot perspective and let it go with that. That's what we mean by the main path and the variance of a process. It enables Kryon's enterprise customers to scale up and move forward with the RPA journey, and it saves significant time and resources. In fact, organizations often see that their implementation time for RPA is cut down by up to 80%. So 5 times faster. Imagine taking a project that you have in play today and saying, I can do it in 80% less time. You would be hailed as a hero and given, you know, your laurels and all that fun stuff. And we hope to help you get there. It saves on deployment times, it reduces costs, and it identifies processes that should be automated. You don't necessarily have to go through the decision-making process anymore. It gives you the information you need. Key differentiators that I find with this technology, not only is it full cycle automation, which means you go, like I said, from discovery all the way through management and rediscovery. You have the automation recommendation engine, say that 5 times fast, which we'll see as a part of Danny Borelli's presentation next week. Once you've done the analysis and once you've done the data gathering, the system will do the analysis, and you can put in information about a particular employee's rate of pay and benefits and all that fun stuff, and see how much actual money reducing this workflow will save you in people time, not to mention efficiency and error reduction. As I said earlier, it generates dynamic and editable process maps that can be taken directly from process discovery into Studio and turned into bots and then deployed. So you don't need someone who can code in C# or Java or anything like that. It's literally click, drag, drop. Some of the cooler, higher tech functions probably need somebody that a little bit more technical background, but I went through the training and certification process, and if I can get through it, pretty much anybody out there can take care of it. And like I said a moment ago, any vertical, any system, it can handle anything a user is doing on a computer. Kryon can track and do. So emulators, VDIs, green screens, whatever you got, throw it at this thing and it'll take care of it. The unique mining algorithm can give you next day results. So, excuse me, it takes all of the information, it processes that information and gives you these results within a day or so. Again, they generally recommend at least a week's worth of data gathering, so you're not like necessarily going to be there tomorrow, but you could be depending on the focus. Nice thing is it's a seamless experience. I've had this deployed on one of our, like I said, we're doing an internal project and one of our employees has it on her computer and has mentioned no issues with the software. It doesn't interfere with the user's work. It doesn't bog up your computer. It's actually quite small. Also, the architecture is really scalable. If you're interested in cloud, we can handle it. If you're interested in on-prem, we can take care of it. 1 bot, 1,000 bots, anywhere in between, Kryon can handle it and has in the past. So next up, we've got the brass tacks of pricing, as I call it. All of the things I said just now are so wonderful and amazing and totally going to solve all your problems, right? And if you're smart, you're asking, okay, how much is it going to cost me? I know that's the question I ask. So Kryon is starting to offer packages that will let an organization get into RPA, straight RPA, unattended or attended bots for $25,000 software plus services. Process Discovery and RPA, the package where you have both parts, the complete circle, that package starts at $79,000 plus services. And as you may have heard me say in the past, and I will say again forever, services do range based on the size of the solution. But the packages that are deployed with Kryon include all of the software you need from a server side, the bots, unattended, attended, and process discovery. Depending on the size of the package, you get more bots or less bots. All of the packages come with the Studio and the console, which are the configuration tool and the monitoring tool, so that you can do those 2 pieces along with your bots at any given time. The only chunk that is quote unquote additional to complete your circle is the process discovery. and it's still $79K for that full circle, all told. You also included in any packages training, 5 days of training on how to use the software and deploy it. Navient, like I said, internally, we've been through the process. We did our training. We have certified employees who are deploying the software. We're doing an internal project to, kind of work out the kinks and see where the hiccups are, and have been running process discovery on our one of our accounting assistants' computers for the last couple of weeks. We've gathered information on over 35 processes that have the potential to be automated, and we're going through the evaluation process now to determine what would make sense as an unattended robot, what would make sense as an attended robot, etc. We're not expecting to get killer ROI out of this project because we have one accounting assistant and she does lots of different things. However, if you have 50 AP accounting clerks and you can automate something that they're all doing, you can definitely see how the scale of value would go up quite quickly. More details on pricing, call me, send me an email. I'm happy to give you details and walk you through it. So, and now we have reached the question portion of our program. I have one from earlier in the presentation. They asked if Kryon is a partner of Highland as well, or just Navient. Kryon Systems, as I may have answered earlier, is an independent organization. They are not affiliated with Highland in any way, shape, or form. And we have a resellers partnership here at Navient with Kryon Systems. So that answers that question. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to throw them in. I've got a couple more coming in. I'm very excited about this portion of the program. Can you provide some real life examples you have implemented this for? The 3 case studies that I cited in this presentation are all actual case studies from Kryon customers. And I can pass you the actual case study paperwork, the white paper on each of them after this presentation. Navient, as I hopefully indicated earlier, is new to the RPA game. This we have not deployed yet with a customer. We're doing that internally. So the first few deployments that we're going to have are going to be more beta learning areas, but we expect that we'll couch that very clearly with the customers that decide to sign on. And there may be some considerations given to those companies that decide to jump in with us early. Give it another minute, see if there are any questions. Oh. Aha, there we go. So those are the 2 questions I got. I don't have anything so far. If you're still typing, keep typing. I have some time and I can answer them after we go. But I want to make sure to promote the follow-up webinar to this one. You'll receive an invite in your emails shortly after this presentation wraps. Seeing the Kryon RPA software in action. This presentation here was specifically designed to give people an introduction, basics of RPA, how is it useful. The next presentation, Danny Borelli from Kryon Systems is going to actually walk us through what process discovery looks like, what the studio and console pieces look like, and answer lots of fun technical questions for you as we go through. I'm hoping that you can join us. It will be very fun and interesting to learn how we can make the departments in your organization work better and smarter, faster with Kryon softwares. We also have an upcoming event. If you're a Navient customer, you know about it. We talk about it all the time. If you're not a Navient customer, it is open to prospects, so feel free to contact us if you would like some more information. We do a customer summit October of every year. This year it's scheduled for the 12th and the 13th at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So not only do you get lots of valuable information from Navient and our partners and the experts that come with us, you get to hang out and check out Lambeau Field, which for a lot of people is really cool. I haven't seen any other questions pop up. So I'll hit my thank you slide. And I do thank you very much for the time you have spent with me today. I hope that it provided information that you find valuable. You will be getting an email, like I said, that'll have sign up link for the next webinar, and it will have a recording of this webinar. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, there's my phone number, there's my email. I am sitting here very excited to take your comments and questions. You can always check out more information at the navient.com site or cryonsystems.com website. And if you have any other questions, you can always just email support@navient.com and we'll figure out somebody to answer your question. So if there's nothing else, everybody have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thanks.